And so he picked me up one Friday night. The first Saturday morning, he shakes me. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. I wake up, I'm wiping the coal out of my eyes. He said, "Little man, you said you wanted it, right?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Get up. We're running 2 miles to this fire station, 2 miles back home." I said, "Okay, let's do it." And every Saturday it became like clockwork. We would get up, run 2 miles, 2 miles back. And so once I caught the rhythm, I said, man, one Saturday, I said, I'm gonna beat him out to the line. We had a line in the street where we were starting, so I ran out to the line and I'm waiting on him. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm standing there and my father, he comes out of the garage. And so he walks by me and he busted a U-turn and he looked up at me. He said, "Son," I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I want you to pull that other person outside of you today." I said, "Yes, sir." And he walks by me again. He said, "Son," I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I want you to pull that other person outside of you today." I said, "Yes, sir." But in my mind, I don't see another person and it's dark. So I really don't know what he's talking about. And I'm thinking he's trying to talk his way out of it. And so the third time he said, "Son," I stepped back. I said, "Listen, Dad, no disrespect." I said, "But I don't see another person." I said, "So I understand we have different lives and you have a job. And so if you're tired, I get it. You can go back in the house and you can go to sleep. But you're not stopping me from running to this fire station. I'm running to this fire station whether you go or not." And he looked at me and what he said to me, it pierced my heart in such a way. He said, "Son, what I'm trying to get you to understand is no matter how hard you work, there is somebody on the inside of you that works even harder." He said, "No matter how dedicated you are, there is somebody on the inside of you that's more dedicated. No matter how committed you are, there is somebody on the inside of you that's more committed. And you don't even know what commitment is yet. You think commitment is just saying, 'Yes, I'll do it.' But what commitment is staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the mood that you have set it in has left. Meaning on the days when you don't feel like doing what you said you would do, you get up and you do it anyway. That's what builds character." And he said, "I need you to understand the concept that there's another person on the inside of you because one day in your life you will face something that's a lot tougher than you, and your strength and your drive and your commitment and your work ethic won't do it. You will have to realize that it's something on the inside of you that's greater than anything that life can throw at you." And immediately I got it. And so when I got to the University of Tennessee, I was extremely grateful to be able to play the game of football, but I was extremely grateful just to be able to go to college. I was the first one in my family to go to college, broke a generational curse. I was just grateful. And when my life changed behind the game of football, it was something that I didn't understand. But when it changed behind the game of football, I was grateful because I understood the work, the level of work that I had put in ever since I was 7 years old. Football is something that's a blessing because it's a controlled setting. You can go out, have a bad practice, come back next week, have a good practice, make it up, have a bad game, come back, have a good game, make it up. It's a controlled setting. It allows you to build your character. So one day when you face a real life situation, you can reveal your character and what you're really made out of. And so when my life changed, not only did my football career end, I got a paralyzed right arm and hand behind it. Life changed overnight. But I was extremely grateful for it because the whole time I understood, Inky, there's another person on the inside of you that you have to tap into in order to get through one of the darkest, toughest, roughest moments of your life. But ultimately, Inky, everything happens for a reason, and you have to understand you've been dealt this. You've been dealt this adversity, this opposition, and this challenge because somebody in the world needs to see you get through it so it can serve as a blessing to someone else. I'm a firm believer that perspective drives performance every day of the week. How a person views what they do will always affect how they do what they do. And so if I meet somebody and they say, "Oh man, I want to be rich," I'm like, cool, nothing wrong with that. But the true measure of your wealth is if you got it, then you lost it, then how much would you be worth? How much is your character worth? How much is your integrity worth? Like me and my wife got 3 homeless shelters in Atlanta, right? And we do work with inner city youth. And I was with a kid, a 15-year-old, his mother called me and she's like, "Inky, can you come and get him?" I'm like, "Come and get who?" My 15-year-old. He's disrespecting authority, disrespecting teachers, disrespecting me. He won't listen to anybody. I don't want him to go to jail. I said, "Can I smack him when I get to him?" I said, I'll meet you, I'll get him. I meet her with the guy, we get out, we ride downtown Atlanta under a bridge, and it's this gentleman. Sleeps on the I-20 East, cardboard box. Doesn't want any help, sits there, great person. We ride up, got some food, engaging in dialogue. I tap the kid. He's a jelly bean. Hard on the outside, soft on the inside, just a jelly bean. I said, "Hey, champ, I said, you're brilliant, you're smart, right? You're the man. I said, you think that was strategic? I said, you think he planned that? I said, you think when he was your age? He said, man, I'm gonna be up on the I-20 East, downtown Atlanta. Kid said, no. I said, take a shot. What you think happened? He said, I don't know. Ink, I said, no, you tough guy. You bad. You Michael Jackson bad. Take a shot. What you think happened? He said, I don't know. Ink, what you think happened? I said, I think life happened. He said, life? I said, I guarantee you he had something he wanted. I guarantee you somebody told him how great he was. I guarantee you he had a certain skill set. I guarantee you at a certain point he was a part of something and he was killing it. I said, but what he didn't understand was everybody on the face of this planet wants something. From California to Boston to New York to Atlanta to Florida. You can go to somebody and say, hey man, what do you want? Man, I want this. I want a house for my family. I want this much money in the bank. I want to crush it in my... Everybody wants something. It's like that quote that says, everybody wants to win, but everybody doesn't have the will to prepare to win. Everybody wants the victory, right? Everybody wants it, right? But he didn't realize the question that changed. It was no longer about what do you want? Now it's about what are you willing to go through in order to get it? Everybody want it. But he didn't understand there was a certain level of opposition and adversity that was going to test that level of belief and that level of purpose and that thing that he said he was going to stay true to. The reason I love opposition and adversity, not that I get up every single day and I say, come see me. No. But when it comes, like I fly all the time, right? Like all the time, right? And so I hit different moments in airports and like I see people get mad. They almost make me mad. I got to walk off like I'm not even trying to get mad. They making me mad. Right? Like people start going bonkers in the airport. But I was flying to Texas A&M 2 weeks ago. And things are going well. Get my first flight to Dallas because they're in College Station. So you got to connect. Get my first flight to Dallas. Everything goes well. I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, man, flight's going smooth. Can't wait to speak tonight. And so I go to the gate and I'm sitting there and I see the pilot go on and then he comes off. Right? And when he's coming off, I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? Where you going? He got his bags. I'm like, what's happening? Like, yeah, we hit a bird. I'm like, oh, my God, you got to be kidding me. A bird? He's like, yeah, they got to wash the plane. They got to do maintenance. I'm like, we just can't keep going. Like, the bird gone, right? Like, we can't just get in the plane and bounce. He's like, no, it's this whole protocol deal. He could dent the plane. I'm like, okay. He said, as long as you don't see the plane tow truck come up, we're good. And me and him go sit down 5 seconds later. He's like, oh, there's the plane tow truck. I'm like, man, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Murphy's Law, right? 2 hours later, we finally get a plane. We get on the plane, everything's going great, people are nice, right? We go to pulling off the runway. They stop the plane. Pilot comes over the intercom and says, I'm sorry, guys, we gotta go back to the gate. They forgot to move the luggage. I said, you gotta be kidding me. I said, they forgot to move the luggage. They had 2 hours. I said, nobody thought about it? I'm like, the problem wasn't even the adversity. That wasn't a problem for me. Like, adversity is a part of life at this point. The problem was when the adversity happened, they couldn't respond to it. Right? In other words, like people live life and think they're going to rise to the occasion. You don't rise to the occasion. You revert back to your training. Meaning who a person is every single day in every situation, like it's a mentality, its essence, its core, right? In other words, one of my best friends was the highest paid safety in the NFL a couple of years ago. He goes to a game, he's playing, everything is going great. Great person, right? Goes to make a tackle, he feels a lump in his chest. Make a long story short, we talked, they diagnosed him with cancer. Lymphoma. No signs of it. He starts going to chemo treatment at Emory University. Got all the money in the world. Great person. He's going to chemo treatments. We're in church one day. He comes out, he wipes his eyebrow, and his eyebrow is coming off. He starts scratching his hair, and his hair is coming out. He's standing in the bathroom behind the door, and he's trying to get somebody to go and get him a hat. And one day after chemo, he leaves chemo, and he goes and he jumps out on the track. And he's running 400s after chemo. And everybody from the time he left chemo and to the time he was being transported to the track, everybody was saying to him, go home. You just left chemo. Like you need to go and let your body rest, man. Like chemo, it drains you. Go home. He's like, no, this is what I do. This is my routine. And as he's running the 400s around the track, he's crying. And he's crying and he says, I'm crying not because I'm in so much pain. I'm crying because I'm not who I used to be, but I know I'm going to come back one day stronger than I used to be. In other words, the opposition was just a part of it, but who he was every single day of his life, like he just responded out of sheer habit. And his people every single day, they live life and they got that light switch mentality. And it's predicated upon, I might give you everything I got if I get what I'm supposed to get. I might show up and go hard. I got the skill set. I might go hard if all the chips line up. If it unfolds the way I thought it was going to unfold, I'm going to give you everything I got. But if I don't get what I'm supposed to get, I might show up, I might not. And so I tell people every single day, man, give me character over talent. Because I know character going to be there. And talent might take a person to a place that their character can't keep them if it's not developed.